I've got to be honest, I couldn't be more proud of them, honestly. I thought the opening exchanges and the first half in general, we created enough moments, enough opportunities, played with some real purpose, some real drive. The guys really got after the game, and to be honest, looking back now, we probably missed the boat a little bit. Should have been at least a goal to the good. Goalkeeper made 2 terrific saves, and there were other opportunities, obviously, to break the deadlock. And then, of course, we find ourselves in a terrific position. We make that moment happen. And, these games, cup games especially, are all about the finest of margins. And we're 2 minutes away from going through to the next round. Looked like, Elliot had been absolutely magnificent all night, got caught up in a difficult challenge inside on the edge of the 6-yard box from the free kick. Of course, it rebounds, they get their fortune, and we end up going to penalties. But even at that point, you look at the progress we've made, even in that department last year, 6 months ago, in fact, the first penalty was missed in Philadelphia, and the rest of the group followed suit, and they couldn't hold serve. And tonight, I think they've shown a tremendous amount of character. They've played very, very well in a tough environment. And to be perfectly honest, I think we were let down quite a little bit from the officials in a situation where we needed someone to be strong. We needed somebody in the middle tonight in a tough game against a side who had, not the easiest to contend with. And unfortunately, I felt they fell short, the officials, of where they needed to be.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now open the floor for questions. Dre Hills with the Tennessean.
Yeah, Gary, you talked about the finest margins there. I just wanted to know, throughout a performance like that, did you ever feel like the game was out of Nashville's hands in terms of determining its destiny and being in control of what happened?
Well, not until we went down to 10 men. We were in a great position. We were in front, we were in control. They created very, very little. 1 or 2 moments that might have just raised the pulse rate in the crowd, but nothing to get too excited about. And I've got to question what the referee sees for the actual free kick that leads to the goal. But that was in keeping with many, many situations. It wasn't on its own. There were, I think, before Daniel Lovitz got booked in the first half, there was a penalty call, or it was a foul in and around the edge of the box that led to that. And it was just so erratic, the referee, with the decisions that he made. It was no wonder that everyone was getting frustrated on the touchline, and that included myself, of course. And their technical area looked just as perturbed at what was going on in the middle. But I didn't ever feel like we had a problem. The goal itself is a routine ball in. Elliot's dealt with 20 of them all night, and very, very well. And on that occasion, I couldn't quite see if the forward got a touch in front of him. But it obviously ricochets into a good area, and they can take it to extra time.
Team Sullivan.
Hey, Gary, you mentioned that you guys had more opportunities to go ahead earlier than you ultimately did, but beyond some of the erratic officiating, you guys were unable to beat Pedro Gallese. What was giving you difficulty, obviously, other than the fact that he's a really good keeper, but what were you guys finding so difficult about kind of finding that magic moment?
Well, look, you look at the weekend, and Hani was absolutely magnificent in front of goal. A little bit of fortune went our way, and on nights like tonight, you need that little bit of fortune. They got it for their goal. As I said, it ricochets into a good area in the penalty area, and the defender's coming on to the ball and shins it into the bottom corner. You need that luck. I thought we did many, many things in the game very, very well. There were good portions of the game. I felt we had nice control. Shape looked good. The attitude was magnificent. As I said, we got off to a very good start, and we looked very positive in our outlook. the goalkeeper, who is a good goalkeeper, made a couple of very important saves. And that, again, keeps them in the game, keeps them upbeat. But I can't believe they went in at the break at home thinking to themselves that things were going well for them, because they weren't. And one of the only two opportunities that they had were from almost from our dead ball counter-attacks, which, was a little bit disturbing, I have to admit. But look, it was a terrific cup tie. Only spoiled by, some, as I said, some very erratic officiating, which in the end was part and parcel of our defeat.
Tim, go ahead with your follow-up.
Hey, Gary, at what point in the extra time periods did you begin thinking about the shootout? Was it like as soon as Sean was sent off, or was there a period in there where you guys were still saying, okay, half an hour to go out and win this game?
Yeah, it's tough when you're down to 10 men. They've got a lot of creative players on the field. There was always going to be some pressure. Brian Anunga had a problem with his calf that obviously made that midfield group look, very different to how we might usually see it. So I wasn't taking anything for granted. But I've got to say, the character of the guys to dig in and to play pretty much 30 minutes of extra time after a tough 90-minute game down here in Orlando was absolutely fabulous. And whilst we're not going through to the next round, and that is disappointing for sure, as I said, there are so many positives to come out of this game. And I do genuinely feel that as we work towards the remaining part of our season now in the league, this occasion will serve us very, very well when we get towards the nitty-gritty and into those post-season games that obviously we hope we're involved in.
Ben Wright.
Yeah, Gary, just two quick questions. The first, we haven't seen Anibal in the past two squads, so I'm just curious if you have an update on him. And then we've seen plenty of really tight games with you in Orlando. I know this obviously was a frustrating end to it, but just like the kind of organic rivalry that's building between the two of you, was it any surprise that this game was kind of as hard fought as it was when you guys went in there?
No, not at all. No. The only, I think, slight shift in maybe how I was feeling or felt pre-game towards the competition and the challenge in front of us was that I didn't think they were that threatening for a lot of the game. With some really talented players on the field, we did a great job. The goal itself that we scored was a little bit of a strange one as well. Terrific ball from Alex. I couldn't quite see how Hanny or the defender had got a touch on it, but again, a little bit fortuitous. And I thought, honestly, that was going to be the difference in a really, really tight affair. But, you can't come to this stadium against this team and not expect it to be a challenge. And the guys have been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm only frustrated some of, the things I've already mentioned, and of course that we're not going through, because I think we deserved it when you look back on chances created and opportunities in the 90 minutes.
Dre Hills with the final question of the night.
You talked about some of the takeaways from this, and it's clear that Elliot has proved himself as to be a part of this group in a way that he's battle tested now. Going through a penalty shootout as well as bouncing back from the mistake he made. Do you still see him do you see him that way, given that he's been on loan for such a long time? Has he taken a level up in your eyes?
Absolutely. In answer to the last part of your question, Drake, absolutely. I thought he had a magnificent night. I'd have to look back at what happened with the goal, but if he was involved, which obviously there was some inclusion there, I'd be saying, should he have punched it? Could he have? But, when you look across the workload that he's had throughout the game, not loads of opportunities for him that he's, had to play out of his skin. But I thought he came and gathered crosses, He showed great presence. He came out a couple of times at people's feet. He showed good bravery, showed good agility. Really, really pleased. Even with, maybe a mistake that was made for the goal, he's been on a particular track. The loan period was important for him. He's moved on in leaps and bounds. And most importantly of all, when he's played in the team, he's taken his chance. He's proved to the group, he's proved to the staff, and he's proved to the players around him, his peers, that he's good enough, he's worthy of his position, and he's gained a tremendous amount of respect from everyone.
Coach, before we let you go, a quick transition into the Portland Timbers. How do you change the mentality and prepare for that game?
Well, to be perfectly honest, tonight's going to be a difficult one, as expected. You lose on penalties. Emotionally, it's a bit of a roller coaster, and the guys, I'm sure, will wake up tomorrow and feel pretty disappointed, and rightly so. But as I've said, they should be gathering themselves during the day tomorrow, and I've made it abundantly clear to them. More to feel good about than not. Terrific performance, some very, very good displays in a difficult environment. And we have the opportunity now, going back home, having not been beaten here, during the 90 minutes. If it was a league game, we'll be going into the home game and feeling pretty good about ourselves against this group. I don't see any problems. It'll be for me to work out who's physically in the right place and who isn't. But we'll be fine come Sunday, no problem.
Obviously, we're very disappointed with the result, the way things went. I felt like we gave everything to win because the cup really meant something a lot to us. So, we're really disappointed. I don't really have much to say about it.
We'll open the floor for questions. Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, Brian, Gary mentioned that you had maybe some slight discomfort in your leg out there, which led to the substitution. How are you feeling, and was it impacting you during the course of the game?
Yeah, I had a little tight quad on the tight. How do you call it? Calf. Yeah, sorry. My English is getting better, but I always forget the parts of the body. I had a tight calf, but it's feeling much better. It was really tight and it was affecting me during the game. So I guess Gary decided to take me out.
Tim, go ahead with your follow-up.
Don't feel bad at all. I don't speak a word of French, so you're way ahead of me, man. Gary mentioned that there were a few, I guess, kind of iffy calls, and I think one of obviously the most notable ones was yours right at the beginning of second half stoppage time there. What did you see on that play? Did you feel like you had fouled him? What was kind of going through your mind as that situation unfolded leading up to the goal?
Personally, I don't like talking about refs, but I think in my honest opinion, I think I went for the ball. He made the ball a 50-50 ball, and I went in and I won the ball, but he obviously fouled, and the ref thought it was a foul. I don't have much to say about that. I'm disappointed. I don't really know what the ref saw, or he just felt the reaction of the player and called it a foul. Well, I guess it's his job, so he made the decision. I can't change that now.
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, Brian, as you look past a pretty emotional game tonight, and you look a fairly quick turnaround, obviously you guys have until Sunday at least, but fairly quick turnaround to Portland. How do you guys flush this one out of your minds and then get ready to focus just strictly on the regular season up until playoffs begin?
This is what we do. This is the game. This is sports, and you're gonna have disappointments. And now we have to put it aside and focus on the league. We can't carry these into the league. We have to. It's a new chapter. We have to put it away and wait for next year to focus again on the Open Cup, and now it's over for us. And now every focus is going to be in the league, trying to finish as high as we can.